Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media, and of course I'm joined by John Sneisen, and we here at WAM, among many other independent medias, are being hit hard. The YouTube and Google have taken upon themselves to bring in the Anti-Defamation League to basically censor content, demonetize that which they feel is hate speech, which is loosely defined, and interestingly enough, as per usual, their excuse is to stop terrorism. Now let me bring you back a little bit. A while back ago, when there were ISIS videos popping up on YouTube, advertisers rightly didn't want to, fund these videos. However, the way that they went upon it was they started demonetizing people who talked about, even if they spoke out against terrorism or anything like that, they were censored. Ourselves, I mean, we got demonetized about 90% and got, that's in pay, so the amount of money we made went down about 90% from ad revenue. And then on top of that, we saw a lot of our videos also get completely demonetized. And the same happened to Dan Dick's Press for Truth, where he got almost entirely demonetized. And just recently, as of a few days ago, when the Anti-Defamation League came in, a ton of YouTube creators got 100% demonetized. We got very badly hit, not as bad as some people, but we got hit hard too. Diamond and Silk, the popular conservative channel, got 95%, I believe, demonetized.
Yeah, those black racists, Josh.
Oh, I know, how dare they. And then on top of that, like Luke Rudowski of We Are Change got hit so hard. And of course, this just goes to show that it's anything that's anti-establishment that is hit. Even if you don't agree with it, you should agree to their right to say it. YouTube's supposed to be a platform for everyone to get involved in, and you don't even have to break the terms of services on YouTube to be demonetized. So, for example, people like Antifa, the Antifa movement, they aren't being demonetized on YouTube, interestingly enough, when they're talking about beating up people and starting fires and beating up those that have different beliefs than them and silencing them, because it's mostly the Antifa crowd that's behind the Anti-Defamation League. And we talk about freedom, and that's controversial. We can't talk about that kind of stuff because we shouldn't be allowed to make money.
Free speech is hate speech.
Absolutely. And that hate speech slogan is so weirdly defined, because anyone that disagrees with the official establishment narrative is considered hate speech. And this just goes to show the politically correct culture that's rising up on a platform like YouTube. Now, a lot of people say, well, we need YouTube alternatives. Well, when you have a good idea, let me know, because we can't live inside this bubble. We need to be able to bring content to new viewers all the time that don't know about this stuff. We're trying to educate people, not talk within our little bubble of political and economic thought. What do you think, John?
Well, that's the big problem, right, Josh? Because we're using Steemit. Well, Steemit is full of people like us that have seen, the light.
And it's a great platform, because it actually does give incentive to people on Facebook to leave.
Oh, for sure it does. But the problem is you don't have the masses on it, right? Like, the masses are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, these major monopoly platforms that they created for themselves, right? So that is the big issue. And of course, now they come out and demonetized video, and we talked about it today, how they demonetized several of our videos as an instant as the new AI came out. Well, why don't we actually mention some of the videos so we could see how crazy this is?
Well, they demonetized, for example, a video we did on pensions, just talking about the economics of pensions and the way
how underfunded they are. Like, we just put forward facts.
Yeah, absolutely. They demonetized my interview with John Sneisen, where I just talked about, getting the message of liberty to the populace using different media tactics. They demonetized that. You got a wasp on you, John. Oh. Maybe it's one of those little drones. No, I'm just kidding. But they demonetized an interview I did with a Somali couple. They demonetized Ron Paul talking about stagflation. They demonetized a whole bunch of stuff. They left a few things monetized, but mostly all of our top videos are demonetized. And we're making about...
that's where you make the most amount of money, right? So that's... of course, they want to take out the best ones, because that's where we actually make a decent amount of money that helps us, fund all the hard work that we do.
Well, absolutely. I work 18 hours a day and I don't need this. I'm trying to make ends meet so I can continue bringing information to the populace. And I mean, another thing was that when they're demonetizing all these top videos, I mean, this month we've made about 30% so far in the month than we made last month at this point in the month. And it's hurting us. It's hurting us hard. Of course, we have different tactics through Steemit, etc. I mean, we have Patreon, a Patreon account, but people are boycotting Patreon because they banned Lauren Southern.
Oh, yeah,
so that's hurting us as well. They are going after GoFundMe as well. But we do have Patreon, we do have GoFundMe, we have PayPal at worldalternativemedia@gmail.com, we have Interact, all that. But they're trying to shut us up because, let's face it, there is an agenda here. We could say all day that, well, it's a private company that's just trying to stop they don't want their advertisers to get mad at them when they're funding crazy videos. But these aren't crazy videos. The artificial intelligence bots that are flagging videos are just flagging anything that's deemed controversial in any sense of the word. So if someone disagrees with it, then it has to be stopped, unless it's Antifa.
Yeah, well, let's face it, it's this new AI bot and what they've done, you know, slowly increments now, it's really coming full-fledged, is basically a cultural Marxist bot that are out there, you know, stopping anything that is not propelling, you know, their future, what they see for themselves. And unfortunately, you know, these big corporations, they become massive corporations, and then they started, you know, fully believing governments.
Well, Google in itself is its own government. Yeah. It's a massive ministry of truth.
Well, what happened was, you know, they went from small government with, you know, actually competing with each other at the start, and then of course they killed out, because of all the legislation for government and so on, they killed out all the other platforms, and suddenly they're there by themselves, like Facebook and Twitter and others. They have a full monopoly, and of course these leftists have now taken hold in many of these companies, and they're using it against the people, because that's their only things that people see up front and that they know about that's out there, and that's where they think the information is. Well, now it's getting full-fledged manipulation on these platforms.
Well, absolute political correctness will be the death of us, folks. That's how all countries go downhill, is the censoring of speech, the censoring of thought, the censoring of different opinions. And of course, on top of that, YouTube, the original creators couldn't afford to keep the site up with the amount of traffic they had. They didn't have the supercomputers that they have today. They weren't able to keep up with all of it. So with billions of users on the platform, they had to go to plan B, which was handed over to Google. Yeah. And I remember the day that it happened, that it was handed over to Google, thinking, man, this is the beginning of something really bad. And I'm worried about it because, yes, there are other streaming video sites out there, but again, inside of our bubble, and it's still only like 1% at best of the viewership that these other places have. And it's, once you take over YouTube, then you take over the information war, when only 6% of people trust the mainstream media. That's why they're going to independent media, because they're more popular than ever. And the demand's there, and they won't listen to the demand.
No, of course. That's why, you know, alternative media became so popular, was because that they were on YouTube. They were able to speak freely there for a while, and then they became too popular for their own good. And of course, the powers that be, including with, you know, Zuckerberg and others, they of course had to go in there and manipulate and take away the power of us, because we're gaining so much momentum, talking about freedom, individualism, all good things that would forward, you know, forward our civilization into a better spot for the future. But of course they don't want that. They want full enslavement with full enforced government stomping on your neck.
Absolutely. The vision of the future is a human boot stomping on, or a boot stomping on a human face for eternity. And you know, it's interesting because they're going after algorithm too. So for example, on Facebook, we'll see that a certain YouTube link that we posted for one of our videos got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views, and then only 1,000 views shows up on the video, despite it taking 2 seconds after clicking a YouTube link for it to count as a view. And I'll watch my videos go up in viewership within the first 20 minutes by almost 1,000 views, and then it'll freeze, and then for days and days on end, it'll only go up maybe 10 views, and it'll just stay there forever, because the first 24 hours of a YouTube video's life is the most important part to getting long-term viewership. So it's really hard. We ask people to please help us out in any way they can, because we have to be able to rise above this censorship, this ministry of truth that has been laid in front of us. We are trying our very best to bring you information on a daily basis. We interviewed like over 33, 34 people in a month and a half, big names, smaller names, people who have information that needs to be heard. And as this happens, this stops us from being able to put out that amount of content, to be able to go to places and interview people, to be able to work on this day after day after day. As I said, 18 hours a day, every day. It's taken up all my time, and I'm happy to do it, and I'll never stop. But with that said, it's very, very difficult to do it without the help of the viewer, if you are capable of doing so. Not those that aren't making much money, but I mean those that can help us out in any way they can. I really do appreciate it.
Well, of course, it's pretty hard. Like, you gotta understand me as well. Like, I come from a place where I have a full-time job working sometimes 8 to 10 hours, and then I drive 2 hours every day on top of that. So I try to, you know, squeeze in 4 to 8 hours every day to, you know, really work hard on getting all these great reports together, you know, finding all the great contents for you viewers, so you don't have to, you know, go out constantly and look for yourself, because you are busy as well. I know how busy you guys are. So we really want to, you know, come out there and help people, but unfortunately now they're coming after people like us big time, and wanting to, you know, take away the power that we are creating, you know, for businesses that, you know, are using ads on our platform. They want to just fully stop that, because they got, you know, the big government corporation, basically Google, in the background, you know, funding all of this, and don't give a crap about what's happening, because they got so much money on other sides that they just let it go. They're fine with, you know, destroying what was the remnants now of a free, you know, community.
Absolutely, and look at what they've done to us. They forced us into the woods, but literally.
We're surviving right now.
Absolutely.
We can't eat.
But I mean, on top of that, if you don't want to give us money, please look at the other independent medias. We Are Change, Press for Truth, Freedom Free for all these other great media organizations that are working hard every day to put out really incredible work. And I really hope that it's not a competition in the independent media world, or it shouldn't be. It's about being able to get that information out. So it's not just about us, it's about the other independent medias that try to speak about individual liberty, you know, the economy, just speak out against political coercion, and on and on and on and on. It's really important work, and we do our very best to do it as much as we possibly can, from 1 to 3 videos every single day, which is not easy, folks. If you saw the amount of editing and writing and work that goes into it, and marketing, it's insane. But we hope that you can help us or one of these other independent medias out, because it really does matter long term when we're looking down the barrel of this order that's you know, closing in around us, and things are getting crazier than ever. It's more important than ever to have this information out and be able to continue to bring people information, as the mainstream media loses trust, but all the same propagandizes people and fools a lot of people into buying into the worst sorts of coercion. So I thank you for talking with us, John, and we'll be back at you with much more. As I said, check the links below, and until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth,
be the change.